What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. My name is Gregson and welcome to Shifting Lanes. I'm here today in my garage because, as you can probably see behind me, it is a wretched day out. It is foggy, it is rainy, it is cold. Again, that's why I have the Shifting Lanes hoodie on. And I have behind me my new to me 2007 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. And I thought today would be a perfect time to go over everything that's wrong with this car and maybe some plans in the future. So let's go check it out. Okay, so here she is. As I mentioned in the original video, this used to be Doug DeMuro and Tavarish's old 2007 Aston Martin Vantage V8. Now, Doug didn't really make one of these videos. Freddie did. I'll link it in the description below. But basically, he kind of went over the whole car and outlined everything that he thought was wrong with it. There are a few similarities. He did some work to it. And I want to kind of outline those as well, but I also wanted to show you a couple more things that are wrong with this car that I've noticed and that I would like to fix. So let's start, since we're outside, let's start with the exterior of the car. The front end is in pretty good shape for the age that the car is. It might be a little tough to see in this light, but there's a ton of dirt here. You can probably see just from the road trip that we went on. And basically that it will come right off. Basically we just need a good detail, and a lot of this surface grime and anything like that will come off. However, there are some stone chips. This is not dirt right here. This is actually a stone chip. I'm just rubbing my hand along it a little bit, and these are, yeah, this is some chunks taken out of the paint. Most of this is dirt. So once we get a full detail, you know, we can get all these bugs and all this road grime off and see exactly what kind of paint degradation we're dealing with up front. My guess is it's not going to be anything too severe that a 65,000 mile car would have. Also, this was something that Freddie mentioned. These kind of not gaskets, but these things here that basically when the engine closes, it kind of seals everything in. Seals, yeah, that's what I was trying to get, that word. These do not kind of close properly, so I think we might need to just put some new seals in. This one is fine, this one is not, so we'll have to just check that out. The lights themselves are in pretty good shape, but they do have a bit of road grime on it, and I believe that we're gonna need to actually refurbish them just a touch. Not sure if you can see it, but a lot of this is kind of pitting and maybe some sun bake and some sun wear, but also some scratching just from normal road use and normal being outside. So that's something we're gonna have to take care of. Maybe we might put a touch of clear coat on that to make it last a little longer per Chris fix, but we'll see. Up front, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else really wrong with the front. It is a very low car, so let me see if I can get low enough here for you guys to check this out. So underneath here, this is the under tray. This is a little scuffed up just from scraping. This is a piece of plastic, so we can always replace this. I'd like to put a front lip on this thing too, but it is very low right now, and I'll go over that again in other parts of the car. But I would like to raise this mainly because the driveway that I have here in New Jersey, as you probably saw in the last video, is incredibly steep. That is about a, I don't know, 12 to 15 foot drop just from where I am in my garage to the street. So that's something we're gonna have to take care of. And actually, let's keep talking about that now, because you can see here on the side, and this really isn't anything wrong with it, it's just personal preference. I don't really like it this low. I also plan on getting new wheels and tires, so I think raising this is about one finger. I mean, I cannot fit 2 or 3 fingers in there. 3 fingers is actually going in the middle of the tire at this point. 1 is barely even fitting in there. My finger is bent. So yeah, it's a little too low for me. But this car has BC Racing coilovers on it, which is what Freddie put on, and we're going to raise it maybe about 3/4 of an inch to an inch and get some new wheels and tires and see how they fit, and then maybe redo it. Something that Doug and Freddie had talked about were the brake pads and brake dust. So if you can see, I'm just rubbing my finger off a little bit. That is absolutely disgusting. So that likely has to do with the brake pads. that is a tremendous amount of brake dust, and this was taken on an 1,100-mile road trip, sure, but it's been well documented by everyone that's owned this car and other people that have owned this car. I think that the pads themselves are a bit too aggressive. So for what I'm going to be doing, I might take this on track once, maybe twice ever, if that. I'm not going to be doing much track driving at all. So I might take the approach of a less aggressive pad for less aggressive brake dust. So that's probably something we'll do in the near future. And after we take it into a shop and just check the brake depth. Coming down the side of the car, there's not too much wrong with it. This is something that Freddie had mentioned as well. This piece of trim is not exactly on properly. We'll have to like just get some double-sided tape behind that and put it down, which should be fine. Coming down to this wheel, it is pretty knackered. We're actually gonna have to clean this up and take a look at how bad some of these chunks taken out of it are. Right here, there's a huge chunk. So these wheels are not in great shape, but they're not in terrible shape. The Volvo wheels are in far worse shape than this is. So yeah, we'll take a look. We are going to get new wheels and tires for this, and you can see how low the car is here. It's a little bit better here. You can probably fit 2 fingers in here. So yeah, it's better back here for how high it is. We may go with 1/2 inch raise here just to kind of keep the same aesthetic we're going for. So yeah, let's go around back and let's see what is wrong back here. God, it really is disgusting outside. I don't know if you guys can see how hard it's raining. It's really gross. So coming back here, just more dirt and road grime. The exhaust tips are very dirty. That's just gonna have to get cleaned up. The rear valence and diffuser, not really a diffuser to be honest with you. It is just dirty. There's some parking sensors back here. I'll have to get cleaned up. The taillights are in really good shape. I actually want to swap these out for the clear taillights. I think it would look cool. Along with that, I might as well say right now, I really want to wrap this car. I'm looking for suggestions. Off the bat, I would really love it to be a dark forest green, British racing green, or maybe a dark blue, maybe even a crimson maroon that is, you know, nice and dark red. If you have any picture suggestions, just reach out to me. It's contact@shiftinglanes.com. So shoot me some suggestions, shoot me some, you know, pictures if you have any or if you find any that you guys think are cool. So check those out and send them over. Something else that is a little off back here is the hatch. Doesn't really want to stay up right now. So it's maybe just a strut issue. We might need new struts back here. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but yeah, the rear hatch does not want to stay up, and I'll show you this, me putting it up, and it's coming right down. So no big deal. That's probably a really quick fix. I'm fairly certain that those are fairly cheap struts because of the era this was made in. The cargo area is really in good shape. There's a carbon fiber wing back here that I do want to put on the car. You can't really see it. The lighting is kind of terrible, so sorry about that. But yeah, the rest of this is really good. It's in really good shape. Nothing else really crazy back here. That needs to be kind of fixed. It really just needs a thorough cleaning. There's a lot of dirt back here. And yeah, everything, there's a nice leather tab here that's in really good shape. Everything is in fairly good shape, but yeah, the hatch itself, not really staying on very well. This back wheel is actually in much better shape than the other one. It looks like just a little bit of dirt and road grime. When I say a little bit, that's a very big over exaggeration. So yeah, that's gonna be something we need to take care of. We'll hopefully get this car washed very soon. Again, light not really good. So let me bring out my trusty phone, put on the flashlight and give you guys a little bit better light here. So yeah, this wheel is also in good shape. So it really looks like it's that one wheel that really is in kind of bad shape. What I'd like to do is get new wheels and tires, like I said, but also make these the winters and put some really nice winter tires on this, like Nokian Hakkapeliitta R2s, or something similar, maybe some Michelin Ice X3s. So yeah, that pretty much does it for the exterior of the car. There's not a lot wrong with it per se. It's just some personal preference things and some paint issues and some wheel issues. The underside of this car is in really good shape. I can't really get to it right now, obviously, but it's all aluminum underneath, and Freddie had installed a Fab Speed exhaust with an X pipe, so it sounds ridiculous. And check out the next video after this one, because we went on our first drive, and I mean, you heard it in the original or not in the original video, but you guys heard it in the road trip video. This thing went through a tunnel with Hanson and Chad, and it sounds glorious, so go check that out. But the next video we'll be starting this up and giving you guys our first driving impressions. So let's hop inside and see what else is kind of wrong with this car. So inside there's a bit more to fix than the outside. Tavarish and Doug took really good care of the outside of this car, even though Doug took it on salt flats. Yes, I saw some of your comments. It's still in really good shape comparatively. So let's take a look at what we've got going on here. All right, so let's first talk about the driver's side. Now you can see here, this foot kicker plate as you go in is pretty scratched up and pretty banged up. I think replacing that would make the car just look a little bit better. These can't be very expensive. It looks like it's a piece of just composite or plastic. Yeah, maybe even metal. I'm not even sure. I'll have to go take a look. This plate is actually pretty scratched up too, you can see, but I'd like to get the car detailed first to see exactly what we're working with, and then we can kind of figure out what we need to do. The door itself is in pretty good shape. Nothing else really there. The floor mats are kind of yucky, but again, it just needs a good cleaning, and I think I can kind of see if this thing needs to be replaced. It doesn't really look like it. The floor mats are, you know, there's no hole in it. I do like that this piece right here is plastic. It's very hard plastic. So yeah, that's a very nice kind of touch, so that your foot doesn't go through the carpet on most cars. The seat here is in decent shape, but it's definitely old leather, so we can condition this and kind of restore it a little bit with some leather cleaner and leather restorer. The rest of the seat, this is just the outer bolster here, so it's not really that bad. Right here is a touch of a scuff that can definitely be restored a bit. The rest of the seat is in fantastic condition, as you can kind of see here in the light. It has no tears, no splitting in the stitching. No, nothing. It's really in good shape. And same goes for the other seat over there. It's officially a New Jersey resident. Woohoo! Awesome! So I got to put those plates on and then get the Florida plate back to Varish. The center console, so the leather here on the armrest is in really good shape. Just a little, worn, nothing crazy. Let's see. The gear lever, or the gear shifter, is in good shape. There are a couple of issues with the gapping here, so this is a bit of a gap. It's not as bad on that side, so maybe we can take this off and reposition it a little bit. Up here, the steering wheel is just worn. It's smoothed out from being used, the rubber and the leather, so again, that can be conditioned. Up here, nothing is wrong, it looks like, but when we're driving, there's quite a large ticking noise coming from, I think, right in this general region. And you can kind of see there's a bit of a seam tear going on here. They do sell replacement gauge cluster hoods, so that might be something that we can do in the near future. This is not exactly the best view, but yeah, you can see kind of right there that there's some tearing going on, or some seam stitching that's coming loose, but there's also a very weird kind of ticking or dinging noise coming from the top of the gauge cluster. So we can take that off, take a look at it. Maybe it's just a screw loose, and look at that. Everything else on the driver's side looks very good. Back here behind the seat, there really isn't anything wrong. The stereo system is in really good shape. There's nothing going on as far as vibrations from the stereo system or anything like that. So yeah, this car is in super good condition for its age. Now if we come around this side, you can see this kick plate on here has kind of some of the same scuffs and issues, but it's not really it's not as bad as the driver's side. I'd like to replace them both. I need to price them out. I've seen carbon fiber ones for this stuff go for around, you know, $600-700. So I'm looking for maybe something for that's a bit of a cheaper option than that. Again, floor mat in awesome shape on the passenger side. The seat itself, again, in really good condition. These ties actually on both sides kind of don't work. They work. They match up, and they have they do magnetize, and they are, you know, they do clip in. But as soon as you put the seatbelt in and try to fasten it, they immediately come undone. So I'd like to get those replaced a little bit. And yeah, the whole interior just needs a bit of a refreshing. It's not like this seat's in really decent shape on the side. It's nothing that, you know, you would really think is in bad shape. The roof lining is in awesome shape. This nice, really kind of suede microfiber material. It looks really good. There's a bit of a leather pod back there that I think just has a little bit of degradation from the roof lining. Nothing crazy. Yeah, overall, this thing is in amazing shape. All right. So I don't really know what this is. This is the rear view mirror, but it's definitely not stock. And Tavares mentioned that in his last video, or in his Things Wrong video. But I'd like to replace that with something more OEM. If you guys have any suggestions, that would be great. I just think it looks kind of odd. So maybe it's an aftermarket thing. But yeah. Yeah, there's also one last thing I want to mention on the interior. It is this bit of leather trim up here. You can kind of see as I work the camera in, this piece is kind of gone. It's missing completely. So let me see if I can't really do this with one hand, but this piece of leather is totally missing. I'd like to get this replaced. It's just this piece here. It's this side piece where the venting is, and it goes up to there. So maybe that's something I can get repaired. It might be something that I have to get totally replaced. I'm not honestly sure. That's it for the exterior and interior and the back. Let's take a look. Let's pop this engine and let's take a look at the engine bay. And if you guys have ever wondered where the hood pop is for an Aston Martin, it's in the same spot that it is for every car since the beginning of time. So that's that. Hood is popped. Let's take the latch out and look at this glorious 4.3 liter V8. God bless you, Mick Moten, you glorious bastard. So, all right, let's turn a light on right fast and we can get a better look at this engine. This is a 4.3 liter V8, an AJ derived V8. This is from, like I just said, the AJ family that was originally developed by Jag and Ford and used in, God, so many things back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's been around for close to 30 years now, so it's a very stout engine. Everything in here looks to be in ridiculously good shape. Both, you know, Tavares and Doug took care of this car, and yeah, I mean, for what you're buying, spending, you know, I mean, even $36,000, you want a car that's going to be in good shape. And you know, I have video documented proof that this car was taken care of for the last 2.5-3 years, so you can't ask for much better than that. There are some corroded parts here, like if you just swing in here, this looks like just a connection joint that is a little corroded, but you know, nothing that you would find on any other car that is not normal wear and tear. This thing looks to be really nice. A nice engine detail will clean this up and make it look a little bit more spiffy. The whole car, I should mention, and if you guys aren't familiar with Astons, the whole car is basically aluminum. There's not a ton of steel and hard metals other than aluminum. The whole under tray is aluminum, except for maybe some joints and things like that. So yeah, there's not a lot of corrosion that's happening here, and you can see basically in the engine bay, like down in here, way deep in there, you would normally see a ton of corrosion from, you know, an iron block or, you know, cars that are using more steel. But yeah, nothing really, which is really, really cool. So down in here as well. I'm trying to keep this level for you guys. I know you're watching this on YouTube and don't want to watch this on side view constantly. So yeah, everything looks to be in really, really good working order. So yeah, nothing really to do in the engine bay as far as work is concerned, as far as refreshing things. But you know, I personally want to put a tune on this car, so this will be a tuned version. Just need to find out who I want to work with and who I want to give lots of money to make this thing a little faster. I've heard though, so to start off, this thing comes with 380 horsepower from factory, and I've heard tunes, just the tune, getting this thing up to about 430 wheel horsepower. So we'll get this thing on a dyno, see what it has now with the exhaust that was put on previously, and then we can see what we're working with as a base, and then go to the tuners and see what we can do there. I just really like the Aston Martin logo right on the engine. I think it looks really, really nice and ties into the hood. So yeah, I mean, nothing really crazy to do with the engine as far as restoration is concerned. So that is in really nice working order. These vents here, they look to be a little pushed in from the top. So let's check out. Yeah, they're metal. They're not exactly in horrible shape, but maybe I'd like to replace that mesh, take this off and get behind it a little bit and just see what we're kind of working with here, with what kind of shape those metal mesh pieces, those vents are in. So nothing crazy, but something that needs to be just checked out. And that pretty much does it. The plans for this car, well, let me flip the camera around and we can kind of talk about that a bit. All right, so that's just a quick walk around of everything that I believe that is wrong with this car. What I would like to do with this is actually take this to a local Aston Martin dealer and have them give it a once over for a clean bill of health. So they can, I mean, they know more than I do about this car, so it might be cool to have them see what's been going on with this thing over the last 2.5 years, and if a dealer will actually let me film in there or anything like that. So that's part of the plan. Another part of the plan is, like I said, I want to wrap this car a different color. I want to get new wheels on this thing, and I want to do some trim updates. Some of the trim in there, as you saw on the foot, the kicker plate, getting in for ingress and egress is totally scuffed up, along with that metal plate as well. The first thing we need to do is get this thing cleaned up and see what kind of scratches we're dealing with all over the car. So that will be one of the first things we do, but look, it's February, it's disgusting. That detail might not happen until March or April. So in the interest of time, I will check out some other things on my own, and I think we can definitely take this to a dealer now, because the dealers are open all year round, and maybe even I could grab a, you know, loaner from them, loaner Aston Martin. That would be crazy. Give me a new Vantage. That's not going to happen. I think that there's a lot of cool things we can do in the meantime before we actually start doing some work on this car, for you guys to show you exactly what kind of driving the car is like, how it handles, which should be the next video, what it sounds like, and more things that we want to do with it, and honestly how it matches up against our other cars, because since this is a shifting lanes project car, we're going to be challenging the Volvo, the M3, whatever Hanson gets, with this thing too, because this is now the new benchmark. Everything's got to beat this, and you know, tuning cars can definitely put it up near this kind of performance, but we'll see if that even happens, and we'll see what happens next. That being said, thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, tell me what you think about the car. I want to hear your thoughts, if you noticed anything as I was walking through that I didn't even know about. So if you are Aston Martin Vantage V8 knowledgeable, please send me a message. You can email any of us at contact@shiftinglanes.com. You can always reach out to us on Drive Tribe. On our tribe, there's a live chat. We're on there literally every day chatting with you guys. And you can also send us a message on there too. Follow me on Twitter. It's @RealGregsonM, or Instagram, or if you can find me on Facebook, go ahead and do that. Pretty open. Just go follow me. But Yeah, I'm really kind of in love with this car. It's amazing. I've driven it. I don't want to talk about that in this video, but in the next video, you'll see Hanson and my first driving impressions on New Jersey roads, not the 1,100 mile road trip. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. See ya.